Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into some really fascinating source material that breaks down a highly specific, totally data-driven process for tracking down profitable YouTube Shorts niches. I mean, we can finally forget the guesswork, right? Let's put on our detective hats and figure out exactly how to uncover this digital gold. All right, so starting with the core philosophy, the material actually breaks success down into three very clear pillars: finding a banger niche, making a viral video, and then scaling it up. The best part? You honestly don't need a massive budget or some fancy Hollywood studio. You just need to follow this specific roadmap. And of course, that begins with the absolute most important step: finding the right niche. So, the really crucial point I took away from this is that a successful channel doesn't just rely on blind luck. Nope, it relies on finding a very specific combination of traits to create what's called a banger niche. Basically, this means you've got a nearly endless supply of ideas, a high clip ceiling. You also want a market that isn't totally oversaturated, and this is super important, you ideally want content with an English voiceover. Now, why is that? Well, English-speaking audiences typically generate a much higher RPM. So yeah, you're literally making more money per thousand views once you're monetized. Okay, so here's the step-by-step roadmap we're going to be walking through today. First up, the banger niche formula. Second, spotting reliable data outliers. Third, decoding the viral pattern. And finally, number 4, running a saturation check. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the banger niche formula. This is all about setting the trap for viral content. So to really cast your net wide, you need to browse objectively. We're trying to isolate channels that fit those high-yield, low-effort criteria. And the very first step here, just log out of your YouTube account. Seriously, you want a totally unbiased feed, so we have to avoid the algorithm trapping us in our usual loop of, cat videos or cooking tutorials. Now, as you're scrolling, keep your eyes peeled for those English voiceovers we just talked about, and try to zero in on formats that look relatively easy to produce. Oh, and when you spot a promising channel, don't just stop there. Pop it open in a new tab and just keep scrolling. You definitely want options so you don't get, married to the very first decent idea you stumble across. Moving on to section 2. Spotting reliable data outliers. Basically, finding that golden clue. Now, what absolutely stood out to me in the source is that we are not looking for just average performance here. We are hunting for massive anomalies. It suggests looking at a pretty mediocre channel's standard content and then contrasting it against that one golden goose video that just vastly outperforms all the rest. For instance, the data points to this one channel where their bad videos ask these weird why questions, focusing on random topics like streamers eating, and they pulled in really low views. But their outliers, man, they were hitting 6 or 7 million views just by using a simple how-to structure focused on highly visual dance trends. That stark contrast right there, that is your golden clue. And this brings up a brilliant point about the importance of recency. I mean, spotting an outlier from a year ago is pretty much useless, right? It absolutely must be recent to prove that the trend is currently active. Think about it. If you find a video with millions of views, but it was posted 18 months ago, the algorithm has definitely moved on. But finding a massive outlier that was posted just 2 weeks ago, wow, that tells you the algorithm is starving for that exact type of content right now. Next up is section 3. Decoding the viral pattern. This is where we start interrogating the clues. So, looking at the actual psychology behind all of this, the source highlights this concept called the curiosity gap. It uses this really interesting example of an owl trend to show how viral videos often feature these visual impossibilities. They literally force the viewer to keep watching just to get an explanation. Imagine a video where someone appears to be running in midair, or maybe their legs seem to completely disappear. Your brain immediately just goes, wait, how on earth are they doing this? That right there, that curiosity gap, is the hook. It virtually ensures the viewer stays through the entire short to see the big reveal, which of course absolutely skyrockets that average view duration. Okay, so how do we actually replicate this? Well, the top earners out there, they don't just lazily copy the competition. Instead, they extract those core viral mechanics and then elevate the content with their own distinct style. You really have to analyze their pacing. Like maybe they use fast red arrows or these specific popping subtitles. You want to pinpoint that core curiosity element. Once you have that, you can actually use AI tools to generate a whole list of other recent viral trends that fit into this exact same mold. The huge takeaway here is to grab that proven structure and apply your own unique spin to it. Maybe you improve the editing or switch up the specific trend being featured. But remember, and this is key, you should never just blindly copy the competitor. Now this naturally brings us to an immediate doubt pretty much every creator has. You finally found this amazing concept, but Are 1,000 other people already doing it? Which leads us perfectly into section 4, running a saturation check. It's time to cross-reference our suspects. By following this super simple 3-step interrogation, you can instantly see if the algorithm is already completely flooded with creators doing the exact same thing. You literally just copy the title of that viral outlier you found, paste it right back into the YouTube search bar, and this is crucial, filter those results specifically for shorts. Once you've done that, just take a good look at the landscape. Who else is making this video, and how are their numbers looking? Now, the source points out a massive red flag to watch out for here. If you search and suddenly see dozens of channels posting identical, really high-quality content, but they are all totally failing to gain traction, yeah, you need to abandon that niche immediately. It basically means the algorithm is already exhausted by that topic. However, on the flip side, if you only see 1 or 2 other channels, and they're also getting phenomenal views recently, boom, you've just confirmed a high-demand, low-supply opportunity. To really ground your strategy in tangible reality, you can use tools like the vidIQ extension. This helps ensure your target channel has actually pulled in over 50 million views in just the last 30 days. I know, it's a huge number, but this metric proves that the niche isn't just some flash in the pan. A channel pulling those massive numbers consistently, that indicates a huge, super engaged audience that the algorithm is actively, constantly feeding. So, the crucial point to remember is that high traffic, when combined with low competition, gives you the absolute scientific validation you need to start creating. When you see a creator out there posting consistently, hitting massive numbers, and your search filter shows the space isn't totally crowded with copycats, guess what? You have found your banger niche. You've completely decoded the mystery. So now that we've walked through this entire playbook together, you know exactly how to spot the anomalies, decode the curiosity gap, and mathematically guarantee your market isn't oversaturated. The tools are literally right there waiting for you in the data. So instead of just guessing what to post next, what viral mystery are you going to uncover and dominate today? Thank you so much for exploring this with me in today's Explainer. Happy hunting out there.